So you've probably been seeing HRV everywhere on your feed and you don't know what it is. Welcome back to Tush Trains, and in today's episode I'm going to go over what is heart rate variability. So just to start off, we need to understand what heart rate variability is. So heart rate variability is the variation in milliseconds between your heartbeat. So say your heartbeat beats 60 beats per minute. It doesn't actually beat every second. So sometimes it would be 0.95 and sometimes it would be 1.05. There would be the slight variation in between what your heart beats at. So why does this metric actually matter? So heart rate variability actually reflects how balanced and adaptable your autonomic nervous system is, or your ANS. There are two parts of the ANS, which are the sympathetic, which is your fight and flight, or your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest stage. When both of these work in harmony, it means that your body can switch gears very easily, as opposed to when one dominates the other, it means that your body cannot cope. So essentially, high HRV means adaptability and resilience, whereas low HRV means stress, fatigue, and poor recovery. Now let's look at the science between HRV, or heart rate variability. So HRV is actually measured by an electrocardiogram, or ECG, or you could wear some trackers such as the Garmin or the Apple Watch, whichever one you would actually want to go for. What these things actually take into consideration are things like RMSSD, which are the root mean of successive difference, and SDNN, which is the standard deviation of NN intervals. And these two basically reflect how your nervous system responds to daily stresses like workouts, sleep, and emotions. Now, in regard to HRV and the mind-body connection, HRV bridges the mind-body connection, showing how your thoughts, stress, and emotions impact your own individual physiology. And activities such as meditation, breathing, gratitude, and nature exposure all increase HRV. This is because they enhance the parasympathetic tone. If we're going to talk about how HRV comes into athletic performance, after intense training, such as say if I did a half Ironman recently, my HRV would drop because the body is under sympathetic load. As you recover, gradually your HRV will increase and your nervous system recalibrates. So essentially, if you track your HRV and know what baseline you're at, then it prevents overtraining, and that way you can have a guide for your recovery days. If we were to look at HRV as a health indicator, having a low HRV has been linked to things such as chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammation, depression and anxiety, metabolic dysfunction. And if you were to have a high HRV, this correlates with longevity, emotional resilience, better recovery and sleep quality, and lower inflammation. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to think about your HRV as your car dashboard. Say if you have an old car and you go into your car dashboard and you just start it up, you see some indicator lights turning on saying that your transmission has an issue, or your engine has an issue, or you need to top up some motor oil. You need to think about these things and how they would translate to your own body. So if your baseline is out of whack, or your HRV is out of whack, then you would need to find things that would help you get back on track, which are things like eating clean, having good sleep quality. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for coming to my talk, and I'll see you on the next one.